the most coherent version that you can give out. So I think that's pretty cool. You have to deal a lot with imposter syndrome, I think, in the beginning, because I feel like as an intern, being tasked with something like making sure that a legal document that's going to be presented towards like hundreds of people is in pristine condition is kind of a lot to take in and make sure that you're doing well. So I think it's cool how you kind of have to overcome that, and I feel like I've successfully overcome and kind of forced myself to adapt to that and take on more responsibility. On top of different administration tasks I've done, I'm also responsible for closing files. Because General Atomics is a public company. They're required to audit the different legal cases that we have open. So it's kind of a detailed process that entails writing a description of what the legal case is, and then there's more technical specificities that you have to detail about who worked on the case, who remarked on the case, like outside comments. So you have to file that all into one document and make a cohesive document outlining all of that. So that's been my biggest task in the past few months that I've really honed down my ability to do. And I think even though it's more administrative or entry level stuff, I think it's really honed in my ability to audit and look for specific details. So I don't think that it's, even though it might be boring, I don't think it's invaluable to my skills that will translate later on. As for connections to course materials, a lot of our contracts deal with international businesses. Specifically, when we host different companies outside of the United States, we have to comply to their cultural norms. And sometimes when we put them up in hotels or if we treat them to lunch, that can be interpreted as bribery. So it's really cool because I've been able to work on this spreadsheet that's kind of outlined different cultural norms from each country and when our acts or services might overstep as bribery. So it really shows you have to be diligent about different norms and cultures in any capacity when you're working with any sort of entity from outside the United States. On top of that, the HP-1 visa increased fine happened in September. And that has directly correlated to how many employees that we've been able to employ. We have about 3,000 GA employees operating throughout the company that are from abroad, like foreign workers. So the HP-1 visa has direct implications. And I think when you're working in a law department, you have to notice how quickly global events can translate into your workplace and how that affects hiring and staff, and everything is connected. And it's cool as an intern, you can see that on a small scale, and things pertaining to like how many people your company is able to hire. When you see things in the news, I feel like it feels so far away, but then if you're working in a law department, those things come up in everyday life. So it's definitely cool to see how those concepts translate into the workplace. As for advice to other students or interns in my position, I think the best way to go about it is just putting yourself out there. I think in applying to as many internships as you can. I think the process is very daunting, and I got a lot of rejections before I got this internship, but the name to the game is just to keep applying to different positions, and you'll find one you like. And also on top of that, I think when I first started this internship, it took me a while to really appreciate and start learning more as time went on and as I was there longer. So I think, one, just stick with it in any capacity, whether that's applying to different internships or if you're at this internship and you're not really liking it, I think time is your biggest friend, because you'll really learn what you will like and don't like. And with that being said, General Atomics, even if it's not a company I see myself working at long term, I think the best part about gaining work experience in a law office is that you can find out if a law office is something that you're even interested in the first place. Even if corporate law isn't something I see myself in the future, I loved the pace of the law department. I love how busy it is. I love how no 2 weeks looks the same. So I think that's the real way that you're able to know that about yourself going forward. And especially law is such an expensive career to get a degree, both time and money and energy. So gaining experience in a legal office is the most invaluable way to really assess if you want to be a lawyer or not. And that's pretty much it. So I think everyone, if you have the opportunity to apply or get any sort of internship experience, I think it's definitely in your best interest. And overall, this was a great learning experience for me. So thank you.